You are mentoring the peers, and those peers within weeks and months will become your bosses. You got so much of ideas, but the management are making decisions behind the doors. You will start feeling your tasks are so repetitive and boring. When such things happen to you, it means it's a clear sign that you hit the manager's plateau.
Welcome to Serving with Soul podcast, where we unpack what it really takes to live with presence, purpose, and impact in the world of hospitality and service. I am Achel, and today I am sitting with Prem Anand, founder of the London Butler Academy and creator of the Service Leaders Accelerator. For over 30 years, Prem has served royal household, luxury estate, and five-star hotels, training thousands of hospitality professionals across the globe. But here's what makes this conversation different. We are not here to talk about how much you need to work hard, but here we are talking something different, which can actually get you promoted. So today we are confronting the harsh reality which 70% of service professionals are facing according to McKinsey research. They do not lack skills. They do not lack that they don't care. They lack something invisible that they are missing. So welcome to our first episode, The Manager's Plateau, and let's dive in. So my first question, Prem, to you is that a lot of our listeners right now might be thinking that you have worked with hundreds of mid-career service professionals. So, what is that one common thing that every time they reach out to you?
Thank you, Achal, and it is an opportunity to put this on record because this has been one of the most often concern which has been brought to my attention in the past years. And I can relate to that because I used to be in mid as a mid-level professional, and I used to wonder when I spent 70 to 80 hours in a week in a banquet department as the supervisor. When they brought in a new banquet manager, I was thinking why can't I have that promotion and so on. But I can understand now, after serving as an executive and after running companies in the director positions and so on, I can relate to what my management has done. And now I'm going to share all this through this podcast series which we are going to have. Yes, you're absolutely right. They put in a lot of hours and they are very sincere, and they don't realize when such a promotion does not come to them or when they are not considered why it is happening. This is because these hardworking, sincere people are optimizing on things which is called to do with the execution. They are optimizing, they are not optimizing the right things to move that needle. So, what is the right thing? At this moment, for this question, I can say only one thing, which is the executive presence. When they perfect the executive presence, the movement comes naturally. Spontaneously, they will be considered to be moved further. So we will see through the podcast what is this executive presence. But for now, you just have to know that you need to master the executive presence. You need to know, you need to become aware of what is executive presence.
I think that's precisely it. And what makes this so painful, as you shared, that they focus on
Yeah,
a different thing, which could be execution, which could be only operating, which could be only centralizing things. So these people are not really lazy. These are high performers who are reaching out to you,
absolutely.
and they have
Yeah,
served their organization for years.
yes.
But if it is not about efforts or skills, but actually holding them back.
Yeah, I can concur with your observation. This is what I call they are putting in whatever is needed, and they are aspiring to be moved to the next place. But there is an invisible gap between where they are and where they want to be. And as I mentioned in the last answer, they have to become aware of. the executive presence, and that is what we are going to look at here now. Most of us believe, as you rightly said, that hard work and sincere work plus put in the time is equal to promotion. I wish life has been like that, and it has happened on some occasions. This is the way it has happened, but not in all the occasions. When you want to make this happen on a regular basis, then you need to become aware of that gap. At least if they can know about three things, then they become aware of those gaps. One is the strategic visibility. They must have a strategic visibility. What is strategic visibility is this particular action, what I am going to take, how it will impact and influence in a long term. So you look at the road far ahead. So when you are executing, you are just thinking about, you are just being present there at that moment. You are not looking far. So when you have to move into the executive level, you must have the capacity to look far. That is number one. And number two is you need to start getting used to the executive language. Now you are looking at activities in terms of tasks and operations. In the executive language, you look at it in the terms of impact and influence. And the third one is the most important thing is the presence. You mastering the presence. So, what is mastering the presence? You becoming aware of the consequences of your activity in the whole sense, the whole dimension, and being fully present, being fully in focus in the flow of whatever you are executing. That is the presence. Apart from the present situation, you are also looking at the long term consequence of it. So when you bring all this together, then you are closing that invisible gap. You already bridged that and you are already on the other side. When you are there serving a certain amount of time, then the promotions will come to you. Then you will know when to get it when the opportunity becomes available.
Wow. And it is interesting to know that they need to have a long-term vision. Secondly, they need to work on their language so other
Yeah,
can not only respect them, but they can really follow them as a leader. Third,
yeah.
as we are speaking about, which is mastering presence. So now let's dig a little deeper now, which is you often talk about the manager's plateau. So, how do someone identify them if they are stuck on a manager's plateau? What are the signs really so they can identify and work on their journey ahead?
Um, I can, of course, relate to this particular manager's plateau concept. There are five, at least five signs. There could be more, but there are at least five signs, which I'm sure people who are listening to this can relate to at, at least a couple of them. One, you are mentoring the peers who come in as a management trainees or somebody, and those peers within weeks and months will become your bosses. And when they become your bosses, their activities, decisions might annoy you. Second one, you got so much of ideas, but the management is making the executives, the management, the general manager, these people are making decisions behind the doors where you are not involved. But you know the best way to get that going. But when the decisions come to you, you feel frustrated because they are not in line with the with how best things can be done.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you would be so disappointed sometimes that your managers won't trust you as much as your clients.
Yeah,
You will start feeling your tasks are so repetitive and boring, and you would crave, you would look for things which can be more challenging for you. You will start feeling, you will start craving for influence. For example, in these decisions which are made behind the doors, you would feel, why don't they ask me, why don't they bring me there, why don't I become a part of their meetings? When such things happen to you, it means it's a clear sign that you hit the manager's plateau. As humans, we are all earning to become more, to be better, to have more. And
And
when
I,
you can connect this to yourself and see you are in the position where you are, then of course you become frustrated, you get disappointed, you get annoyed, and you wanted to be in that place. You wanted to make that bridge, you wanted to cross the bridge.
and I really resonate with your thought where you mentioned about trust, because when somebody is working in a C level leadership position, I think trust is the most important part,
Yes,
because if their team is looking up to them, so it
yes,
is not more about showing off, but it is more about showing up, so
yes,
people can
absolutely.
follow your lead. So I think this is a perfect place to end our conversation here. And if anybody is thinking that I am also stuck at a plateau and I'm ready to make a shift, so here's you can do next is join our Prem's next workshop, where we are going to share frameworks and systems about how you can move ahead and you can follow this journey to being as a leader who have executive presence in themselves. So thanks, Prem. Thanks for being on the podcast, and I wish you luck.
Thank you, Achal. I look forward to the opportunity. There is nothing which brings me more joy than to support such people who have the serving hearts to move ahead, to flourish in their lives. And I'm looking forward to uh, serving them through the masterclass, weekly masterclass, or through my courses, however they decide to take it forward. Thank you for this opportunity, and we'll keep meeting.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.